Since the very beginning, philosophers have been trying to find an answer for what is reality. What is reality? Some thought that it was physical, some non-physical. Thales thought that all was water. I'm very thankful that he was wrong. Anaxagoras thought that everything was made of spermata, a higher power of some sort. So what is the correct answer? What is reality? George Berkeley was a man with extensive thoughts on this subject. His maxim was esse est percipi, to be is to be perceived. This sparked the age-old question, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? Let us answer this question first, and the answer we will find will help us to answer our original question. Berkeley's to be is to be perceived leads us to another question. To be is to be perceived by whom? If to be is to be perceived by me, the idea of my own reality, then if the tree falls and I didn't hear it, then it didn't make a sound. In fact, it didn't even fall. You did not perceive it. Therefore, it is not part of reality. At this point, most begin to question, but the tree did fall. So how are you going to say that it didn't when it quite obviously did? Something can exist and you not see it, right? Well, yes. This is because our reality, what is perceived by us, is imperfect. There is only one perfect or true reality. In truth, to be is to be perceived, not by us, but by God. Because God heard that tree fall, the tree did fall, and it did make a sound. On the surface, everyone has their own reality, what is perceived by them. In this reality, the tree did not fall. In actuality, however, there is only one reality, what is perceived by God. In this reality, it matters not if a person heard the tree fall. God hears everything. The tree did in fact fall. If something is perceived by God, then that thing is part of reality. This answers our original question. Reality is that which is perceived by God. Now, those who are quick with logic will realize that we have just committed the fallacy of affirming the consequent. We need more proof. If what is perceived by God is reality that which is perceived by God? This answer is also yes. God is supremely observant and all-knowing. What this means is that God must perceive everything that exists. If he does not, he is no real God at all. Because of this, we can say that everything that exists, everything in reality, and therefore reality itself, is perceived by God. If something isn't perceived by God, then it doesn't truly exist, and it isn't in reality. Now that we have this out of the way, we can conclusively say that reality is that which is perceived by God. And herein lies the answer to each and every philosopher who has asked this supreme question: what is reality? Reality is that which is perceived by God. Thank you.